What your nails may reveal about your nutrition. Have you ever looked down at your hands and noticed that your nails are suddenly cracking, peeling, splitting, or breaking much more easily than they used to? Maybe you've been treating it as nothing more than a cosmetic problem. A little nail polish, a nail hardener, maybe some moisturizer, and then you move on. But what if your nails are trying to tell you something? I'm Dr. Shawn, and today I'm going to be your guide, your director, through the fascinating world happening beneath the surface of your fingertips. And before we finish, you'll understand what brittle nails can tell you about your nutrition, what they cannot tell you, and when a simple nail change deserves a closer look. Because sometimes the smallest changes on your body can give you clues about the bigger picture. Let's start with something surprising. Your fingernails are not just pieces of dead material sitting on top of your fingers. They're the visible result of a biological process happening underneath them. Deep beneath the nail plate is an area called the nail matrix. This is where new nail cells are produced. As these cells mature, they become packed with a tough structural protein called keratin. Those hardened cells gradually move forward, creating the nail plate that you can see. So when you're looking at your fingernails, you're actually looking at the end result of a process that has been happening inside your body for weeks and months. And that's why changes in your nails can sometimes provide useful clues about what's happening inside you. But here's an important warning. Brittle nails do not automatically mean you have a vitamin deficiency. That's a mistake I don't want you to make. Let me tell you about Maria. Maria was in her early 60s, and for several months, she noticed that her fingernails were becoming thin and fragile. They peeled easily. They cracked near the tips, and no matter how carefully she cared for them, they seemed to keep getting worse. At first, she thought she simply needed a stronger nail polish, so she bought one. Then, she changed her moisturizer. Then, she started taking a handful of supplements she had seen advertised online. But nothing really changed. Eventually, during a routine medical visit, she mentioned the nail problem. That small comment led to a much bigger conversation about her diet, medications, general health, and other symptoms she'd been experiencing. Her healthcare professional decided that some blood tests were appropriate. The results showed that she had iron deficiency. The nails weren't the diagnosis. They were simply one of the clues that encouraged her to look deeper. After the underlying problem was addressed with appropriate medical care, her overall health improved. And over time, her new nail growth became healthier. That's an important lesson. Sometimes the body doesn't shout. Sometimes it whispers. And sometimes that whisper comes from your fingertips. This story is a composite educational example, not a report of a specific patient personally treated by Dr. Shawn. Let's talk about iron. Your body needs iron for many important functions, including making hemoglobin, the protein in red blood cells that helps transport oxygen. When someone has significant iron deficiency, several physical changes can occur. One classic nail change associated with iron deficiency is called koilonychia, where the nails become unusually thin and develop a spoon-like shape. But iron deficiency doesn't always produce this appearance, and brittle nails alone are not enough to tell you that you're iron deficient. That's why I don't recommend looking at your nails and immediately saying, "I need an iron supplement." Please don't do that. Too much iron can be harmful. If you suspect iron deficiency, the smarter approach is to talk with a healthcare professional and, when appropriate, have the right blood tests performed. Now, let's talk about another building block your body needs: protein. Remember that keratin we talked about earlier? Keratin is a protein. Your body needs amino acids, the building blocks of proteins, to produce and maintain tissues throughout the body. So adequate nutrition, including sufficient protein, is important for normal tissue growth and repair. But here's another important distinction. Having brittle nails does not automatically mean you're protein deficient. Someone may have perfectly adequate protein intake and still experience splitting or peeling nails. That's because nails can be affected by many things besides nutrition. Now we come to one of the most famous nutrients associated with nails: biotin. You'll often see biotin supplements marketed specifically for hair and nail health. Biotin is a B vitamin involved in important metabolic processes in the body. Severe biotin deficiency can affect the skin, hair, and nails. But here's the part that advertisements don't always emphasize. True biotin deficiency is uncommon. And while some research suggests that high-dose biotin supplementation may help certain people with brittle nails, the evidence isn't strong enough to assume that every person with brittle nails needs a biotin supplement. So before spending money on expensive hair, skin, and nail pills, ask a more important question. Why are my nails changing in the first place? Because sometimes the answer has nothing to do with vitamins. Are your hands constantly exposed to water? Do you wash dishes frequently? Are you using strong cleaning products? Do you regularly use nail polish remover? Do you bite, pick, or file your nails aggressively? All of these things can contribute to nail damage. Repeated cycles of wetting and drying can make nails more vulnerable to splitting. Harsh chemicals can also weaken the nail structure. And as we get older, our nails naturally change. So before assuming that your body is missing a vitamin, take a look at what your nails are experiencing every day. Now, this is the part I really want you to remember. Don't panic because one nail broke. That happens. But if your nail changes are persistent, unusual, or affecting several nails, it's worth paying attention, especially if you notice persistent thinning or splitting, spoon-shaped nails, significant changes in nail color, pain or swelling around the nail separating from the nail bed, or nail changes occurring together with other symptoms such as unusual fatigue, weakness, or changes in your general health. These signs don't tell you exactly what's wrong, but they can be a reason to have a proper medical evaluation. And here's something I want you to remember. A nail hardener may make a nail feel stronger. Polish can make it look healthier. Moisturizer can improve the surrounding skin. But these products don't necessarily address an underlying medical or nutritional problem. Think of it this way. If the warning light comes on in your car, covering the light with tape doesn't repair the engine. The same principle applies to your body. Don't become obsessed with your nails, but don't completely ignore persistent changes either. Start with the basics. Eat a varied diet containing good sources of protein, iron, vitamins, minerals, fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Protect your hands when using harsh cleaning chemicals. Avoid excessive picking and biting. Keep your nails at a reasonable length. Moisturize your hands and nails regularly. And if your nails have changed significantly or the problem continues, speak with a healthcare professional rather than guessing with supplements. Your goal isn't to take every vitamin you can find. Your goal is to find out what your body actually needs. So the next time you look down at your hands and notice a cracked or peeling nail, don't immediately think, I need more biotin. Instead think, what might be causing this? Maybe it's simple environmental damage. Maybe it's aging. Maybe it's your nail care routine. And sometimes it could be a nutritional or medical issue that deserves attention. Your nails aren't a perfect diagnostic test, but they can be part of the story. And your body is constantly giving you information. The secret is learning how to listen. I'm Dr. Shawn, and this is The Healthy Habit, where we don't just treat what we see on the surface. We learn what's happening underneath. So here's my final question for you. When was the last time you really looked at your nails, not just to see how they looked, but to notice whether they've changed? Because sometimes paying attention to one small change today can be the reason you discover something important tomorrow. Take care of your body, listen to its signals, and I'll see you in the next one.